Good sunrise. Satnam. My name is Amrit, and I'd like to welcome you to Awakening with Amrit. This is a space where we seek to remove ourselves from the matrix of mind, of this 3D world that we live in, and come back to who we truly are. Infinite beings with infinite potential, beings of love, with abundance and freedom as our birthrights. I'm so happy that you're joining me today. And one of the things that I've been doing that has really allowed me to move further out of the matrix is to sync myself, my body, my mind, my spirit with the more natural rhythms of the earth. And the biggest one that is more frequent is the changing of the moon phases. So really observing my what used to be months as the phases of the moon, because there's 13 every year. And especially for women, our cycles, our moon cycles, are cycled with the moon. That's why they're often called moon cycles. So today we are in a waxing crescent moon. We are in between a full moon that occurred earlier this month in January and moving into our next, I'm sorry, the full moon that just happened, January 18th. And we're moving into this full moon waxing, which will occur on February 1st. So I also love to see what time the moon rises. When it's getting more into its fullness, I really enjoy being outside in nature and watching it as it comes up over the horizon, especially here in the Arizona skies. It's really incredible to see. So that is where we are in relation to time and space on this day. And now we will look at the planets and where they are in relation to this moment in our existence. Hi again. My name's Amrit. So nice to be here and exploring all of this. Well, I say newness. It's new to me. Over the last few years, I've taken a bigger deep dive into astrology. Um, I was really deep into it when I was a kid, not realizing that it's an ancient wisdom, it's an ancient language that's, over 4,000 years old. It came to us from the Egyptians, then through, ancient Indian traditions. So today, these are the planets as of today. I took this chart this morning at about 8:45 a.m., 8:30 a.m. And you can see that our sun has just moved into Aquarius. It's in the very early degrees. Happy birthday to all those Aquarius beautiful souls out there. Our moon is at 17 degrees of Pisces. And you can see those in the chart here. The moon in Pisces at 17 degrees, and our sun in the very early degrees of Aquarius. And what's really interesting about what's happening right now, if you follow astrology at all, you might be clued into this, is we have multiple planets right now in Aquarius, and they are all conjunct or very close to each other. And most of them are inner planets. So Mars, Venus, oh, this is Mercury, sorry. So Mars, Mercury, and Venus. And the amazing thing is that they have been conjunct with Pluto off and on over the last few days and continuing, I think, over the next few days also. And Pluto is our outermost planet. So that is bringing in some beautiful transformative changes. Pluto being the planet of destruction and change, transformation. So, having all those planets shifting into Aquarius right now with Pluto there is a pretty big significant thing that's happening. And then you can see all these triangles right here. They're what we call in astrology as trines. And trines are a positive aspect. And so we have trines to this Neptune and Saturn conjunction that is happening in the very late degrees of Pisces and the early degrees of Aries, which is quite incredible because these two planets have not met at the 0 degrees of Aries in a very long time. I don't know the exact time. There are some amazing astrologers out there that have all this memorized and know it because they've been doing it for a long time. Um, I am just jumping in here, so please bear with me if I don't have as deep knowledge as some others might, but that's okay, it's coming. I just enrolled in Deborah Silverman's level one applied astrology course, and I'm super excited because I really want to deep dive into this ancient knowledge. So we also have the moon here in Pisces joining these two outer planets. It looks like probably over the next couple of days it'll be joining them. And then they're all trine to beautiful Neptune. I'm sorry, this is Uranus. This is Neptune. They're all trine to this beautiful planet, Uranus. And Uranus is like a bolt of lightning that comes in and can completely disrupt everything. And it's been in Taurus over the last, I think, 7 or so years, 7, 8 years. It's been in and out of Taurus and Gemini over the last year because it's making its final transits out of Taurus and into Gemini, which is happening very soon over the next couple of months. I am a Taurus sun. And when I say that Uranus being in my sun sign and the sun sign being the ego, Uranus transiting through my sun sign over the last several years has been quite a ride. I'll just say that for now. We can dive into that deeper. Uh, yeah, I'll give you a couple of examples. When it first transited into Taurus back in, I think it was 2017, 2018. My divorce finalized. I got rid of everything except for what would fit into two suitcases. I moved to India, started a new career, lived and traveled in India for 2.5 years. COVID happened. Uh, so my entire life that I had built there and was completely in love with shattered into pieces. I had to come back to the US, which I didn't really want to do at the moment. And since I've been back in the US, I've been a nomad. I've lived in Florida off and on. I bought a van and I lived in a van for a year. Then I went back to Florida briefly, tried to start a life there again, had a beautiful partner, a pretty cool job, and then boom, it all blew up again. And I ended up on the road again, traveling and pet sitting all over the US in my car camping with my service dog Hermes. And I've just recently landed back in Arizona, which is where I lived before I went to India. And it's just now feeling like I can stop and be still, and my world's not going to explode if I put down some roots. I mean, we'll see because, it's a beautiful life that we live. So that's just a few examples of what Uranus can do when it transits through your sun sign. So if you're a Gemini, hey, get ready. Get ready for some fun times. All right, so this is just a brief little look of where we are from an astrological perspective, what's going on up in the sky. And I'm really excited to share more about this with you as I learn more. All right, so now I would like us to do some card pulls. Yeah, I have a couple of decks here. This is really what inspired me today to create my very first live stream. I went in my closet for something, and I have like a little library set up in the shelves of my on the shelves of my closet, and I came across my different card decks, and I was like, why haven't I been using these? And it was like, oh my gosh, you should totally do a live stream and like pull cards at least, every couple of days or so, just to get back in the practice of doing it. Such a nice intuitive practice that can give some deeper insights into any feelings or any things that might be going on in our life that we need some insights on. So today I'm working with this Ask the Witch deck that a beautiful friend of mine gifted me some time ago, and it's been one of my favorites. So let's start with pulling a card from there and see how this goes. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. Why didn't I do this sooner? All right. And if you have tarot decks or other decks, because I have some other ones too we're going to pull from, they're not all tarot decks. Um, Drop a comment. Let me know, what decks do you enjoy pulling from these days? Give her one more shuffle here. All right. And I don't really have anything specific I'm seeking today. Maybe we can just ask Spirit, what is one insight, Spirit, that you can give us today that can bring us back to the fullest, most whole versions of ourselves while we are on this journey of awakening back into who we truly are? What is an insight you can give us for that today? Okay, on this one. Wow, it's the Empress. Mm. Talking about the fullest version of who we truly are. The Empress, divine feminine. See Venus right there on her cauldron next to her. This card has a very special meaning to me, but um, let's see. Let's see what I know it personally what it means for me, but I do want to read because this book is really great. So I like this book because it gives you like the name of the witch that is in the card itself, and then a little breakdown of what she brings forth. So this is the message from Spirit today. In Welsh legends, Ceridwen is remembered at times as a powerful sorceress and at others as a goddess. She was able to unleash extraordinary powers as she walked among mortals, sharing their passions and desires. Her son, Morfran, was the ugliest child ever born, so Ceridwen decided to compensate for his horrible aspect by granting him a special gift. She prepared a magic potion in her cauldron that cooked for a year and a day. the first 3 drops of which would bestow wisdom, and the rest of which would be a lethal poison. As the blind old man Morda and the young Yuan watched over the cauldron, 3 drops of the potion splashed into Guan's thumb. He licked them off, inciting the terrible wrath of the sorceress. He tried to escape by transforming himself into different things, and when at last he turned himself into a grain of wheat, Saridwen turned herself into a chicken and ate him. He began to grow in her womb, and after he was born, he grew to be the famous bard Taliesin, the personification of poetry and prophecy. In her cauldron, the Empress Saridwen had cooked the terrestrial asset of knowledge, which, through poetry, became the art of seeing the secret nature of things. She is the protector of affection, a dispenser of a magic that transforms all of those who receive it. The Empress's greatest teaching is not one of personal power, but one of completing one's mission, just as a son is to his mother. Wow. Positive aspects of this card: creativity, motherhood, healing, beauty, dedication. If you're in the shadow aspect of this, it would be laziness, excess, envy, sterility, and chaos. Such a beautiful story from Welsh. Wow. The Empress, Divine Mother, Divine Feminine. So, intuitively, I would say, as our message for the day is for us to really tap in to that divine feminine aspect of us, into Venus, into love, creativity. And if you feel any conflicting emotions come up today, just envision the Empress and channel that energy into something creative, into love, into doing something nice for someone else, or even for yourself. Self-love, right? All right, so that's our first one. The other decks that I have today, I actually acquired this one. It's Reflections, and it's from Amritji that I got to meet in Florida years ago on his 90th birthday. Amrit Desai is his yogi Amrit Desai. We called him Amritji. And I bought these cards when I was at his birthday celebration. So let's see what this one has for us today. Okay. Amritji's Reflections. I got cards wanting to fly out everywhere. All right, let's see. Spirit, let's have one that resonates with the message we're getting for today. What would that be? Okay, it's this one that's jumping out. Okay, and we have Faith. What a beautiful card to go with the Empress. Faith in our divine feminine and our creativeness and our intuition. Faith. The mind is human. Faith is superhuman. Where the mind cannot reach, faith can. Faith is a limitless creator working through you. The limitless creator, that's the divine feminine who birthed everything. So, yeah, the intuitive message I'm getting is just, again, if there's some conflict or conflicting feelings or energy that's coming up for you today, just come back into yourself, into your intuition, and have that faith that everything is always working out. The universe conspires in our highest good. The last deck I have is the Sacred Symbols deck. I don't remember where I got this. I want to say it was from my sister. And if so, Brooke, let me tell you, thank you. This deck is incredible. And when I got rid of everything, when I left, oh wow, did I have it when I was here? I honestly don't remember. Time, like I said, has been such a weird thing over the last few years. But anyway, um, I had I've given away a few decks over the years because when I lived in my van, it was just too much to carry so much. And I was like, what are the ones that mean the most to me? And at the time, I didn't really have a deep connection to this deck, but there was something that was saying, hey, hold on to this. And then when I got to Guru Jagat's Kundalini Yoga Center in Santa Monica, California, and I was living in my van, it was my first time going there after being in her online classes for years, especially through COVID. um, I walked in her studio and she had this deck on the wall for sale for others. And I was like, okay, it's time to start exploring this deck. So yeah, it's really great. I love it. Sacred symbols for divination and meditation. So, Spirit, let's see. What sacred symbol will be with us today to help guide us that is in resonance with this message that we're receiving right now from Spirit? All right, it's this one. Oh, okay. All right. Well, the card we got today, sacred symbol is meditate. So you might ask, how can we tap into this intuition and find this faith that we need? Meditate. And I know a lot of people do struggle with I guess, the more traditional technique of meditating, which would be like sitting in silence. But there are many, many ways to meditate. Uh, Before my severe knee injury, I loved to run, and this was before I knew how to sit in silence and meditate. But running for me, especially after I injured myself and couldn't run anymore, running was meditative. Um, Sometimes I just sit at the park with Hermes and lie in the grass and look at the sky. That's meditation. Meditation is really anything that you can do or not do, where you are basically just turning off the chatter in the mind, and the mind comes to this place of just stillness. And even if it's not completely still, if you're just sitting and taking 3 long, deep breaths and listening to your breath come in and out, that's meditation. And if that's all you have time for, that's all you have time for. But the key is just to do it at least once a day, to bring yourself to that place of stillness and shutting off all the chatter in the mind and all the external stimuli. All right, so let's see. It came with a little book too, which is cool. It gives a little more clarity on the symbols. So meditate, meditate. Clarity, peace, stillness, quiet time. Your current situation needs more time and less attachment. All is well. Meditate on this symbol to feel the peace permeate every cell of your body and radiate to all areas of your life. The symbol is actually Gyan Mudra, which is a Sanskrit word. It's a yogic term, Gyan Mudra, which is when you put the thumb and the index finger together. So when you use this mudra, when you're meditating, and even if it's just when you're stopping to take those 3 deep breaths, you have both of your hands like this with your index and thumb finger touching. This is Gyan Mudra, is a powerful hand posture that has been practiced for thousands of years by yogis. It brings peace, calm, and spiritual progress. It relates to the planet Jupiter. The index finger is the planet Jupiter. It relates to the planet Jupiter and brings many health benefits for the mind, body, and soul after consistent practice. Awesome. Well, this is pretty awesome. I really appreciate you, Spirit. Thank you for bringing all this to us today. I'm not sure what your current situation is. Whatever it is, though, sit with it. Sit in peace and in silence. Take a few deep breaths. Less attachment means trying to figure it out, trying to make something be the way you want it to be, the way your brain thinks it should be. Because oftentimes things work out in ways that we'd never think they would work out, or they come to us in ways that we could have never experienced if we would have forced them to turn out the way we wanted them to. So that is what faith and meditation can help us with, is letting go of attachment and allowing life to flow and things to easily come to us when it's time, because everything happens in divine timing. I really hope this helped you today. And if you have any specific meditation practices that you do that are different from things I've mentioned, I'd love to hear what you do. And if you want to share what you might be going through that these things can help you with, I'd love to hear about that also. So thank you so much for your time today. Hope to see you again soon. Satnam.